Hello. This video is about how to embody your sovereignty, how to embody the archetype sovereign, which has the qualities of walking through life with dignity, having a sense of self-responsibility, so taking on the things that are your responsibility to take on so that you fulfill your purpose and your meaning in life. And also being able to recognize the boundaries where your responsibility ends and where other people's responsibility begins, so that they can also fulfill their purpose and their meaning in life, and that you're not overstretching yourself or that you're taking something away from other people so that they are unable to fulfill their meaning and purpose in their life. And so when we take ownership of that responsibility, when we take ownership of being the author of our life, then we give permission for other people to do the same. And so we find ourselves in a position where we are allowing other people to thrive and flourish in their life. And so when we find ourselves in a position where we give our sovereignty away, when we give our dignity away or our responsibility away, what we'll notice is that the body will react in a certain way. So we'll lose some of the qualities that are inherent in the embodiment of sovereign. So we'll lose alignment through our body, we'll lose the groundedness that we'll feel, and we'll also lose that sense of feeling supported by the earth through that alignment, so that we get that sense of connection with something much larger, that purpose, that meaning that I was talking about. So this video is very specifically focused on what does that embodiment of sovereign look like? What does that feel like in the body? And what are the qualities that we're looking for? So if you're watching this video now and you're going to do it along with me, then please take the opportunity to stand up and do it with me. You can do it seated, but it'll just be easier to walk through life from this standing position, because so often we lose our sovereignty when we're just going about our everyday life. We give our sovereignty away in those sorts of situations, be that at work, be that in our relationships with our children, with our partners, or even when we're making, for example, health decisions or decisions that are for our betterment. And we'll give that sovereignty away. So this is all about how to embody that sovereignty. So I'm stood with my feet basically hip width apart, and I'm emphasizing the alignment between the feet and the hips and the shoulders and the head, so that there is a spinal alignment from head to hips. And also the ankles are lined up with the hips as well, and the spine. And with that skeletal alignment, that allows the muscles of the body to relax. So we can consciously decide to relax the muscles of the face, the chest, the stomach area, and the pelvic area at the front of the body, and relaxing the muscles at the back as well, so the neck, the shoulders, the back muscles of the torso, the glutes, the legs. So there is a sense of relaxation, a sense of feeling that the body is being held and supported by the skeleton, because the skeleton is aligned. And as you do that, you might feel yourself breathing more easily, breathing from the abdominal area, breathing slower, the muscles relaxing, and that you begin to feel your weight dropping down through the hips, through the legs, into the feet, and into the floor. And allowing yourself to feel the calm of sovereign, the strength that you feel in your body because you're aligned. And then because you're relaxing and the weight is dropping down, you might also begin to feel the ground pushing back up. So there is something about having that alignment and having that trust that means that you feel supported. Prentice Hemphill talks about the alignment of the spine that gives non-negotiable dignity, so that you can walk through life with this dignity that we lose if we do something that is where we lose that dignity, and so the shoulders slump and the spine curves and we lose that strength and that sense of self. So bringing that alignment back. So the qualities of sovereign are that we are aligned through dignity in the spine, grounded to the physical world and the world of humanity, and that because the ground pushes back up, it also gives length to the spine. So now we also have this sense of coming up and feeling taller and taking up space, where we begin to get this connection to perhaps our divinity or our spirituality. So sovereign bridges these two worlds, the human and the divine, the physical and the spiritual. And so this embodiment allows us to feel that bridge. And that if imagery works more powerfully for you, then to perhaps think of the symbols of sovereignty. So the things that you see the kings and queens of the world wearing. So you've got the crown on the head, obviously, and the orb, the round orb that they hold in one hand, that are symbolizing connection to that divinity and that spirituality. So if you imagine yourself wearing that crown and holding that orb in one hand, if that works for you, and to wear the robe or the mantle that you see sovereigns wear, and holding the scepter, the staff in the other hand, that represents your responsibility as sovereign to humanity, and that grounds you in the physical world. So if that imagery works for you, that's great. If not, then don't worry about it. And hopefully the embodiment that I've been talking about helps with that. And then I invite you to take a walk around the space that you're in. I haven't got much space here, so I won't walk, so I stay in front of the camera. But if you imagine wearing that crown, wearing the mantle, carrying the orb and the scepter, and walking through your space with dignity, or just standing in your space in dignity, and asking yourself, does this feel familiar? Or does this sense of sovereignty feel longed for? And where in your life might you want to use this sense of sovereignty? Where might you give your sovereignty away and therefore wish to reclaim your sovereignty by coming back to this embodiment? Is it in your work? Is it in your relationships with your children? Or is it with yourself? Are you always giving away your sovereignty to other people rather than being a stand for what is most important to you? So if you were working with the imagery of the crown and the robe and the scepter and the orb, then perhaps take a moment to physically take the crown off your head, let the robe slip away, put down the orb and the scepter. And then from here, moving the shoulders and the arms and the head, coming out of that embodiment of sovereign. And taking some time to think about whether that embodiment feels familiar to you, and if not, does it feel longed for, and where in your life could you be using it? And as a further inquiry as well, to ask yourself, where do I give my sovereignty away? Sometimes it feels like the things in life are coming at us and that our sovereignty is taken from us. But really, it's always about us giving our sovereignty away. And so we have a way of being able to reclaim that sovereignty. And one of the ways in which we can practice that is to practice this embodiment of sovereign, the archetype sovereign, the way we just did. And to practice that so that you can begin to tap into it on a regular basis. And so when you feel yourself coming out of that embodiment, that you can quickly recognize that and then bring yourself back into that alignment, so that you can walk through life with dignity and make choices on a day-to-day and moment-to-moment basis that mean that you remain aligned with your sovereign through all the choices that you make and all the situations that you find yourself in your life. So I hope you found that useful. My name's David Brown and I am the founder and director of Potentiality Coaching. You can find more information about the work that I do with archetypes and the other work that I do around stress management and confidence on the website www.potentialitycoaching.co.uk. So that's potential with ITY at the end, potentialitycoaching.co.uk. Hope you found that useful and thanks for listening.